All right. Well, we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. First and foremost, of course, is the Rings of Power drama with the whole bastardizing Tolkien lore. And do we have any Tolkien experts on the stream? I feel like a few of you may have a little bit of knowledge.
No.
I've read a lot of the books, but I would not call myself an expert. I've read
Yeah.
all the Hobbit book, all of the Lord of the Rings. I've read the Silmarillion at least once. I've read the Tales of Tom Bombadil.
He's such an insane character.
I love him. He is the best character. Sometimes I skip around the house singing his song.
Really?
None of you will ever see that. There's no proof. Just my word.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert because I know a lot of my friends actually know more than I do.
Right.
Even though I've probably read a lot of the books.
Right.
I have all of them on audio. I just haven't finished.
That's a very similar place to where I'm at. I've read all the books, seen all the movies, but nowhere near neurotic or let alone just some guy level. So I have a tertiary knowledge, but enough to understand how devastating and how contradictory this is to Tolkien's lore and his view of this incredible world that he built that we all love, irrespective of our race, gender, or creed. And that was something that was so powerful about it that I feel like Amazon just doesn't understand. But has everyone at least seen the trailer for the new Rings of Power?
Yeah.
Yes.
Generic, boring.
I watched it because you told me to.
I did tell you to. That's right. But yeah, no, and it's just strange to see after all these years how many franchises have been bastardized to this level, and like they don't care. And that's something that I talked a lot about with Blabber and Collector on our Harry Potter stream last week. Is that it's a very fundamental part of our society that good art means healthy society. And those two are so intertwined that what these people are doing to our art and our entertainment sphere has far more widespread repercussions than any of us could realize. A lot of us, dismiss it. This is something we love, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter on a world level. And that's not true because from, Greek mythology back in the day, those stories shaped their entire world. The Greek ancient world was built on those ancient stories and their morality was based on it. So if we allow our entertainment and our art to be bastardized in such a way that our morality is corrupted, our society as a whole gets corrupted. And that's why we're all here. That's why we're all in this so-called culture war, because we want to preserve that piece of art that makes it special, that makes us as a people special. And that's really what sets us above the animals. It's not our technology. There are animals who can do things comparable to their size, like ant have incredible architecture skills. It's our art. That's the one thing that's not really seen in nature as much as it is in humanity. And that's what makes us sentient, really, is our art and our value in perceiving stories in a way that shape our worldview. And I don't know if anyone has any more comments on that, but this is why I care about Lord of the Rings. This is why I care about the Rings of Power, because at the end of the day, it's the soul of humanity that's at stake at the end of the day. It's dominoes. This is just one domino, but at the end, enough dominoes fall and humanity falls. And that might be a little over dramatic for some people, but for someone who focuses on the academic sides, as much as I at least believe that I do, that's something that can be seen throughout history. When Rome lost their mythology, when they lost their art, is when Rome became vulnerable enough to fall. So yes, Lord of the Rings, a domino. Not important in and of itself, but combined with everything else, it's all at stake.
Damn.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks for the stream, everybody.
You got to bounce?
No. Your speech was just so epic. I don't even know how anyone's going to follow that.
Going off Ivan's point is they're inserting themselves into it, but on such a superficial level that no one can connect with those characters. As a writer myself, I admit that I've inserted myself into the stories before, but never in a purely appearance manner. And that's what they're going for. I introduce my own personal struggles, my personal history, my, history in such a degree that you can really understand and get inside of the head of certain traumatic events, that I feel like that sort of self-insert is fine, but these people are doing it on such a superficial level that these are empty characters meant to just be, physically what they are and appear as they are. And that's why so many people have a problem with it, is they're empty characters used on a basis of identity politics and as an excuse to be written as lazily as possible. As a writer myself, that is offensive to use something political and may or may not be an actual real issue in the world, depending on your own political opinions, and to bastardize it in such a way that it makes it feel empty and meaningless. The idea of representation. And it's just terrible to see the heart of the issue be ignored for the appearance of the issue.
You know how I feel that it's like what's happening? I don't know if any of you were like this when you were young. Even to today, I still do it. I don't care. But that you would pretend that you are a character and you would play like in your backyard with a stick and I am Luke Skywalker and you would make the sounds and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but none of us, while pretending to be a character, we were like, okay, now I need to focus on the internal struggles of my character. Like we were just there to beat the crap out of the bad guy, and that's it. Like very superficial.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to be the character that we were playing as because they inspired us. We saw ourselves in them being the greater version of ourselves. But now you have people that I think they're doing that, inserting themselves into the movies, and instead of actually thinking, what can I do to inspire, to make other people feel like that, they're just playing still on the superficial level of, I'm going to just do this one character trait, and I'm going to make this character immediately liked by everyone because I wasn't liked during middle school and high school, and that's it. And you get this superficial character because they're not taking into consideration what a good character is.
Right. Yeah. They're taking the whole, I see myself as that character a little too literally.
Yeah.
The whole point of a well-written character is that a well-written character, everybody can find something that they identify in that character. A well-written villain, you can maybe see from a point of view, but you're like, oh, that's still a point. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to literally look like me in order for me to identify with you as a character. Like Han Solo, I wanted to be Han Solo. He was so cool and suave. Am I a guy? No. Do I have a giant spaceship? Also, no. Am I 6 feet tall? Definitely not. But he was cool and he had swagger, and I wanted that kind of swagger down the street while holding my lightsaber, defeating bad guys like Luke Skywalker. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was a kid, I would pretend to be a velociraptor. Dude, like not even a human.
Yes.
and you like my family, they give me crap about it all the time. They're like, "Hey, can you do the sound of the velociraptor?" Because I used to like just walk around the house like this, you know. Like I can't do it anymore. Like I don't know how I did it, but they're like, "Yeah, you were like," and just like walking and. But yeah, I got inspired by a velociraptor.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Are we dinosaurs? No. Have dinosaurs been dead for millions of years? Yes. Did I still see myself in the velociraptor, that clever girl being clever? Absolutely.
And it's just like they've awakened a beast with this Lord of the Rings thing, man.
No, absolutely. And not to get too political, but something that Ryan and Jeremy have talked about a lot is how, right politicians often mock the entertainment sphere and disregard it. But Tolkien is one of those few examples because it's considered separate from the whole entertainment sphere in a way that it's more academic of sorts, and they see more value in it. So a lot of people who have politically given up on this whole entertainment sphere are getting involved finally and see this as a battleground worth having, where it's separate from all these other ones that they didn't deem as worthy of their attentions. So it's been interesting to see.
Yeah, I haven't really talked about it too much on my channel or anything, but no, it's like I think the biggest difference and the reason people are really surprised by the blowback is because the Lord of the Rings fandom is different. For years and years, did you have like the Hobbit cartoon? Yeah, you had that, but other than that, it's these books. It's even letters from Tolkien to fans, like people that would ask him questions. Like they're documented, and it's like, oh, letter 342 written to Mr. George Stephanopoulos or whoever, right? and it's like, I said this one thing about beards in 1970 before I died. And there are literal scholars that are devoted to this stuff. It's the complete opposite of like Star Wars fandom, where you know, people that read the expanded universe, you know, myself, I know Tugs is a big expanded universe fan as well. That's definitely the minority. You know, where we were definitely in the minority there. The vast majority of people got introduced to it and love it because of the movies. And so when you take something where people are so hanging on to every single word that Tolkien said and you so drastically change it, this is the result you get. And I think that the US trailer is almost ratioed. It's effectively ratioed at this point. But the UK one is more interesting. That one has been ratioed since the beginning. It's almost double the amount of dislikes. And that's who it was written for. It was written for the people of England to be some sort of like fantasy mythology for them, for his people. And they are the ones that it's geared toward. They're the ones that are rejected it the hardest. And I love that.
Well, what's funny is I was thinking this morning how it's like, dude, I remember watching The Last Jedi trailer and feeling some excitement. Like, and I didn't know what movie I was going to see, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, you know, this could be good. I can't wait to see Luke in a movie and all that sort of thing. Like, this could, and it's like, that's just the trailer. Like, the parts that are supposed to piss us off haven't even happened yet. Like, the only job of the trailer is to get us excited. And even that's getting ratioed right now. It's like, imagine if the show is as bad as it's looking like it's going to be. It's like people, this is only like a smidge of like how upset people are really going to be.
Optimistic about the trailer. Not going to lie. Even when I saw it, I was like, you know what? Amazon did The Boys and Invincible, which were, in my opinion, really good. And I was like, they can pull it off. They can pull it off. I mean, companies are not that soulless yet, I think. And that is also because I was riding the hype of the Mandalorian. Boba Fett, the Mandalorian showed up, and I was very excited for it because they seem to understand Luke and the lore. And I was like, fuck Boba Fett at this point. Like, this is something that I can really look forward to. And I felt hopeful for the first time in 7 years. And then, like, I saw the finale of Boba Fett, which for anyone that hasn't watched it, just don't. It insults not only Boba Fett, but insults the Mandalorian. Double insults Luke Skywalker, and it shows you that they really want to double down on the sequels. I used to be very optimistic when it came to like other type of projects. Like, if you see my videos from the beginning to today, my optimism has been destroyed over and over and over again, to where I can definitely say, even though the trailer looks absolutely generic and could be good, the odds are it's not going to.
I mean, it's one thing to hear like, oh, there's the Harfoots, and like they might be a little bit darker skin tone. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of a stretch. That doesn't necessarily mean there was black hobbits in Middle Earth. But if they want to take it and turn it into that, okay, that's one thing. But explain to me black elves, like, and again, when's the genocide happening? Because black elves, where you know, there's black dwarves, and dwarves are in freaking caves. Like, why are they even black? That doesn't make sense. Like, naturally. They wouldn't
like
be
the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
know, right?
And the photos, I mean, of Galadriel, man, I freaking love a Galadriel show. If it's actually like Galadriel, but this is not her. This is, and it goes into like I remember during the Geeks and Gamers stream during the Tuesday night's main event, they were just talking about like the lore and how much people have known the lore, and I just like I don't even feel like that's even required though, because if you've seen the movies, you have a sense of the kind of character that Galadriel is, and she's like a feminine character. She's like that's where her strength comes from, even how she carries herself. And now the fact that she's this generic, we've seen it over and over again, like warrior lady. I'm sick of this. It's literally like we get painted as the bad guys as we're going after women. No, we're trying to like defend quality women. They're more complex than this, but you just want to make it seem like every woman just needs to be like she needs to have armor and she needs to have a sword, or she's just some kind of failure of a woman. She's not even worth writing, and that's pathetic. That's just Hollywood being simplistic. There is a part of me that's kind of happy through this. Like, I have some joy through this, because to see how people have responded to this And I also feel like there's a lot of normies, a lot of the older audience that aren't as involved in nerd culture, who aren't really seeing what's going on, who aren't really seeing the way agendas being injected into everything and ruining just people who used to be creative. They're not creative anymore. And so I feel like it's waking a lot of people up. I'm even seeing it with my parents a little bit. My mom was like, she couldn't believe that they were doing all this. And I'm like, Gary's been literally saying this is going to happen like word for word for like 6 months. You know, they're going to have this, they're going to have X, they're going to have Z. And yeah, it's not a surprise to the rest of us.
A lot of people don't understand about the situations that we get ourselves into in this sphere is it's not about politics as much as they'd want us to believe that it is. It is 100% about weaponizing politics, and that everyone can get behind, whether or not you agree with what's going on. This is a sphere that should be 80-90% of the time free of politics. It is built for escapism, to be free of the real world, and they don't understand that anymore, so they're weaponizing it. And that's why our sphere has nothing to do with right or left or any other direction. It's all about, we want to be free from the controversy of the world for whatever few minutes, few hours that we can achieve in this sort of escapism sphere. And to see the last bastion of that fall in forms of Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, the best bastions of them, it just kills your soul to watch. And this is the place that's supposed to be different, that's supposed to be better than everything else in that sense. And you know, it's heartbreaking.
The fact that they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, to the Unfinished Tales, I think that actually makes it worse. Like, because then instead of having the rights to go back and do these things, it gives them more freedom in a way, because they don't have those. So all they can do, this is their only option, is to tell different stories.
Right.
It didn't happen. So they can make up whatever the fuck they want. They can literally do whatever they want that's not, you know, exactly laid out in the Silmarillion, which is, we're talking about, I mean, how many pages is that? Like 300, something like that.
Roughly.
And it takes place over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it's almost like, because they don't have the rights to that, it makes it that much worse. So now they can do anything they want.
If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.